Hello, all the beautiful people. It's Tuesday, April 15th, 2014, and welcome to episode 701, where we learn to be a better gamer. Doing all the little crickly cracklies. Now, given the fact that I am a veteran broadcaster on the internet, I know that one of the most important things for successful broadcasting is to make sure that these cords are the same length. So I just want to show on air the consideration I am taking to deliver you today's show. Today we're going to take a look at MMA versus MC, the grand final matchup that just recently took place for the WCS EU Championship. We had Sue go up against Zest in the GSL. We had Hyun go up against Oz in America, and that'll be analyzed on Thursday. But today we're going to do MMA versus MC, and it's going to be pretty much the exact same way that we did the series of Sue versus Zest. We're not going to be doing a really in-depth analysis on every single match. In fact, I'm really glad about that because a lot of them had very dry openings. What we are going to do is talk about the big general concepts that are going on in these games, and of course, how it impacts it being a best of 7. Because I know you're probably going to steal these and go ladder and do them, so it's not that important for you as a player, but for you as a fan. That Best of X logic is so good. Now, tomorrow I'm going to try a Token Druid deck in the Stone Hearths. And then, on Thursday, I said before, I'll be doing the Hyun versus Oz Lightning analysis. Friday, I'm going to try to play all the way through Guacamelee. It was recommended to me by Tristan and by many of you, and those are the only 2 people that I interact with. And then I'm not going to do any shows for 3 weeks. All the dailies are just, I'm taking a break. I'm very, very tired. I think you can actually see circles under my eyes. Probably not, actually. I actually feel pretty good, but I'm going to be taking that time off. The only thing that I will not be taking time off broadcasting is the Friday shows. I'll probably just play Dark Souls 2 3 weeks in a row all day on those Fridays. So that's what's up. Let's go into game 1. The sound was disabled and re-enabled pre-show. Feeling so good about that. So this map, Ultrazim Stronghold, is the biggest damn map in the map pool. Now, if I normally want to take a look over at Ultrazim, I'm going to note the fact that, geez, here is a lot of wide open space. So this means that should a Protoss army be here, the Terran army can elect to go around it, can engage from whatever side. The Terran army is generally a little faster than the Protoss and can select the engagement time and angle. But I think very importantly, why does my music keep stopping? Yeah, I think very importantly, these outside edges are huge for Warp Prism play. So what we tend to see is a lot of staleness once the Protoss gets these 3 bases and is slowly gearing up for 4 and 5 and 6. This Terran player is turtling up, and there's just going to try to be one big push from Terran to try to take things out. It's not as harassy of a matchup. It's not really as much about doing huge-ass drops and all that sort of stuff from the Terran side of things. Protosses have gotten to the point where they're just building so many defenses and cannons that it's not as important because it's always such a late game map. But MC brought an insane idea to the table right at the get-go. And this insane idea is not based around the mechanics of the map. It's based around this ramp. Players will try to get away with a lot with all races because of this little tiny ramp. So I'm going to say that, and we're just going to watch the exploits of Mr. MC. Do you know, Minchel? Alright, so MC's going to open up, I think, with a very reasonable play. He's going to be going directly for an expand, gateway, and then double gas. Seems very reasonable. Goes for the cross-map scout. Why cross-map? Because normally an enemy Reaper or SCV will likely be arriving to our base around this time. Excuse me, not a Reaper. Reaper should be starting about now. But an SCV will normally be getting there around this time. So we want to send his probe out, cross map, nice opportunity to check for proxies. There is the little Reaper, just getting his journey begun right now. So this probe will get the opportunity to run into said Reaper or go right by it if it's not in that spot. So this is where MC, I think, has a very standard answer. Gotta chrono boost out the 2 Zealots so you don't lose too many probes to the Reaper. So why is MMA going for a Reaper on this map? Well, I mean, just look here. There's really nothing that Protoss can do about a Reaper getting into your base early on. And MMA loves doing this mine-heavy opening. Or, well, I mean, you can't really do a mine-heavy opening. You can just kind of do a mine-focused opening. He loves going for these mines. So we've talked a little bit about this concept of trying to get away with stuff. And we can see this showing up in both these players' build orders. We see MC trying to get a Nexus first. Would have liked to avoid building those Zealots, but you can't win them all. And now MC is going for a Stargate right out the bat. Now how's MMA trying to cut all the dang corners? Well, he's just doing what you could call a fairly standard opening build order. Marines and mines into a fast medevac. But this is being done without a fast bunker. This is being done with very fast barracks without a fast bunker. You're trying to get away with stuff when you got a little ramp. So what we're going to see out of MC is a very beautiful 1-2-3 punch. Very, very beautiful. Step 1. Oracles. All the dang oracles going on. As is very commonplace, this medevac will normally have a mine that has been absorbed all the way up into it, but I think MMA is feeling a little leery and is now oddly sending out a scout medevac. Come on back. Come on back. Get yourself your fancy mine. Now, we could say that MMA intentionally sent out a scout medevac, but I actually think he may have just forgotten to pick the mine up. He has 2. He has 1 in each location, perfect for dealing with the Widow mines. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I forgot to point out that he... You know what, the timing of this is not as important. MMA has spotted this, and hence why his 2 mines are sitting back home. I still have no idea why this medevac is that far down, but I'm sure if I looked more closely it would be clear. We're going to give MMA the benefit of the doubt. He's a boss. But what are we seeing out of MMA? A defensive opening with the Widow mines, but still one that's cutting lots of corners. No bunker, no excess defense, a very fast 3rd command center. Oracle trying to get zoned around. And with a 2nd Oracle coming up, MC is really going to be able to deal a lot of harassment damage unless MMA stays cloistered up in his main. So step 1, I would really say to this, is these oracles have forced defensive play and defensive spending with this missile turret. And then MC just does something that most people would consider insane. He begins to chrono boost out Void Rays? Now, why would you do that? But why? And it again weirdly comes to this thin little ramp. Are there extra barracks? No. No extra barracks. MMA went for a fast command center first. And as MC has scouted, he sees that. Is there any bunker? No, nothing like that. If you're Terran, hey, you can easily defend this front. If you see a threat, you just build bunkers to stay alive, and you can cut every unit building corner in the book. So really, the oracles help drive money away from extra barracks, away from extra bunkers, away from extra pressure at the front, and force MMA into this very tiny little army size. So what MC is going to do is he's just going to boost out a whole bunch of Void Rays. We see many a gateway getting built. We see the oracles trying to waltz in, deal some harassment damage. And all of a sudden, MMA, who's trying to gear up to take a 3rd base, suddenly sees barracks here. Or excuse me, suddenly sees gateways here. Suddenly sees there's a lot of units. Uh-oh. And I see some void rays. Uh-oh. The only real way to hold off an extremely aggressive void ray play is to have enough units. And actually, I shouldn't say aggressive, because that's a little bit too vague. The only way to hold off a large void ray attack versus like a fast void ray attack or a light void ray attack, a big void ray count void ray attack, the only way to really hold it off is with a lot of units. The bunkers will help for sure. But remember how I spoke about the barracks 4 and 5 being delayed? Well, here's barracks 1, 2, and 3 that have been pumping stuff out. There's barracks 4 and 5. Unable to do much. And MC simply warps in a lot of stuff. And then darts right in. And you actually can just see with everything sitting here on it, trying to repair. They fall so fast. The void rays are just bunker busters. Nothing else really. And then the 7 gates back home produce enough units to beat the 3 barracks that MMA is trying to produce out of. Very clever, simple little play that we see out of MC on this map. Players are going to try to get away with a lot because of a thin ramp. The first Oracle can go in early and control. It can do damage. It can see what's going on. And then in that very moment, MC can say, you know what? I can just go all in with Void Rays and kill this guy. We're going to see MC do a big variety of different Oracle plays throughout this Best of 7 series. And I want that to resonate really hard with your Best of 7 logic. This isn't just Oracle into 7-gate Void Ray into surprise, busted you. That is a fear that's going to be in MMA every single time that he sees an Oracle on the field in any point. And that's one of my favorite techniques in a Best of X, to do something very scary in the very first game that looks similar to your long form play. And then your opponent will always have to be worried about that and may make more mistakes down the line. So we head into game 2 with MC having won a game. Feeling good, he's currently up. It's Habitation Station. We're going to see MMA do some of the similar opening stuff. So this game isn't going to require nearly the length of analysis. But most Terran players are even saying that there's exactly one opening that you can do as a Terran now, and it is Reaper Expand. You must get that Reaper out to spot what the enemy toss is up to. We see MC going, not for a Nexus first play, but for an extremely fast double gas. Now getting 3 into each of them. And is going to do one of the famed and wondrous openings on this map. An extremely fast gold base. So here's what MMA already saw. MMA has walked into this main base, and suddenly something that will only really matter to extremely good players is going to be piquing MMA's fears. 3 in each assimilator. Very, very, very often it's common to go for ultra fast 2 gas, but then you put like 2 in one and 1 in the other, or 2 in both. You don't mine with 3 from all those geysers. Why? Because you want to actually get your Nexus up more quickly. And then a little later on down the line, you just put an extra, 2 or 3 probes, and now you have 3 in each gas. But if you're Terran and you walk in here and you see the double triad, you see 2 geysers with 3 in each of them, you're going to start to go, well, what are you really planning? And then this happens. Mothership Court, which is very easy to see because of the Nexus animation, and a Stalker is being built, and warp gates being researched. Any reasonable Terran player is going to be wondering what you're up to. And of course, MMA, we see that thought process reflected in this Reaper movement. Geez, dude, if you are devoting so much gas, or so much of your probes to gas early, and you're spending all that gas and money right away, well, I'm nearly positive that you're not expanding. In the meantime, MMA is just doing a very sort of normal follow-up. He's expanded. He has his reactor. He's got 1 barracks up. After he builds these 2 Marines, he'll get a 3rd barracks up. Oh, there it is. And indeed, MC got all that early gas collected together to get a very fast Stargate. Now, hilariously, MMA went everywhere except for this absolute tip where there was a probe hiding. So now MMA is at a complete loss as to what on earth is going on. And MC's just shutting everything out. And as you'll note, that Reaper actually poked up and said, oh my god, there's no expansion here. This is something that makes me really love Habitation Station. You can delay expanding and then go for the gold afterwards, and you effectively get to catch up because of how many more minerals you'll be snatching up. So MC is now going for another Oracle opening. And we see MMA is not yet gone for anything like a factory, nothing of the sort. Reaper waltzes right up into the main base. Gonna begin to do the scout around Aru and seize the Stargate. So up to this point, we see MMA with some great answers, just rallying into his main base, having a bunker at the front to make sure that he can still deal with something like a very early bust with stalkers. We see very subtle but clever moves. Both command centers rallied into the main. If a fast Oracle were to arrive, there's only one place where there's a threat, and hence only one place where our Marines need to be. Were we rallying to this expansion, suddenly these are slim pickings. Easy attack locale. So Oracle shows up, gets repelled. SCV gets there and sees the gold expansion. And we see the same play from MC again, trying to go for the Void Rays. Now, we have to very importantly ask, why are we on this screen? There we go. It's very important that we ask the question, why is he going Void Ray on Alterzim, and why is he going Void Ray on this map? Because to the there's 3 different kinds of brains that'll look at this situation. The first and lowest form of brain will say, aha, MC is doing the same build twice in a row because it's probably a good build. The next rung up from that will say, oh, MC is doing kind of the same thing, but on this map, he went for the Stargate first and then expanded. And then on the other game, on Alterzim, he expanded first and then went for Stargates. So that's getting a little better. That's pretty good. But we still must ask or answer the question, why is this Void Ray play good on this map versus Alterzim? On Alterzim, we got the chance to talk about why it was good. That thin ramp means MMA is very, very likely to cut corners, which means the only defense he'll really have is Mass Bunker, and Void Rays are a bunker buster. Here, why are we doing this? Players won't really be cutting as many corners on this map. It's much more standard, it's going to be much more dangerous, but hell, we can secure gold expansion, and we can overwhelm him with gateway units. So we see MC still doing the same harassment. Now, if you're in MMA's shoes, you just don't know anything that's happening right now. You're very lucky to have gotten that SCV that far out. But I mean, these oracles keep darting in. You don't know if there's still Void Rays being produced. You don't know if there's been a transition to a forge or a lot of gateways. But MMA is being very smart, continuing to build bunkers. Trying to build a turret to try to zone away the oracles. Everything's good in MMA's shoes. He's getting in a set of upgrades. And this wondrous SCV got the chance to locate these Void Rays. And we just... Oh god, I just want you to see this so hard. In the MMA cam. Alright. So we are now on the MMA cam. Alright. I'm going to pull this back a little more. I'm actually not going to follow him straight up. MMA is in a rather awkward position because we can see that he doesn't really have vision of everything that's going on. He doesn't see a lack of gas. He sees probes mining, but he can't see if there's an expand here. He has actually very, very little information other than 2 oracles are really working hard at him. So, more or less blindly, MMA gets these 2 bunkers up. Can always be salvaged and will eat a little bit into his plans. But upon seeing those Void Rays, it's very clear why this 9-minute timing is going to work very, very well. And then MMA just goes straight into playing lean. Immediately begins producing Widow Mines. Doesn't do the default, I'm going to build a reactor to try to get a super fast double medevac. I mean, double medevac is just really not going to be that impactful at this point in time. MC goes 8 gate. Because he's got all the juicy gold bases. And suddenly these oracles can also take part in the bunker busting, as well as the bunker revealing. Envision can be used to see these Widow Mines. Easy pickups. And the sort of hilarious thing is that MMA is just pumping out Marines. Just churning out. Actually, it's kind of important. It's easy to just hit D a whole bunch and just begin to make Marauders as well. But Marines are going to be much, much better in this circumstance. It's just Marines and Mines. And SCVs collected around. I mean, everything is known right now. MMA has complete sense that it's an all-in, knows that there's a lot of Void Rays. Things are falling very, very quickly. And MMA still almost loses here. Because of how unbelievably good this gold expansion is. We can see that MMA's only defense is not bunkers. He has mines, he has marines, he has medevacs. Plenty of options for him at this point. There's a huge amount of stuff made. The Void Rays are trying to defend this against these medevac drops a little bit. Don't quite manage to connect. But MC just literally is going like 8 gate. Because MMA, the big weakness is that he probably doesn't have these barracks up. And the fact that he used that prismatic alignment is actually super good for MMA. So we see like an incredible amount of mines. Not really a big chance for MC to break, so MMA is just going to go for the counter drops. Just love it. Constant defense. And then does the tiniest of counters. There's no push at the front. Why is that? Well, if MMA is investing so much in defense at the front, these counter drops continue to leverage this defense at the front. We don't want to be in this position where we're only going to do a direct push along the middle. If we did that, we might be asking when we could salvage these bunkers, and it's much better to just continue to use the resources that you have. So with that, most of the mines go off. It's still a close fight. MMA literally almost loses the front and has to bring these Marines back, and then it's just like the easiest win in the world. GG. Hey! And I think that there was, yeah, there's absolutely no command center anywhere in production. No need for that, really. I love this, just going for double upgrades. I think that's just a beautiful expenditure of gas. If I can click on this one, yeah, 2 eBays. So, I really liked Game 1. We got the chance to see the same kind of play in Game 2, but the motivations for it, the logic was quite different. And MC was able to almost break MMA, but MMA was macroing so well, the Oracles did so little damage, and the Widow Mines got built just right on time that he was able to stay alive. What we're going to begin seeing in part 2 and 3 is that MC really loves this Oracle type play. And MMA is suddenly going to have to ask himself, are you all-inning me again in like every single match? So we'll be back with part 2 in a sec. Yeah. It's also very hot in here, so I'm going to go ahead and take the sweater off. Woo! Oh, that's not the right overlay. What's this? No, that's not the right overlay. There we go.